Hi, welcome to week 3. As you can see, I am visually back. A few of us, IDs here at UCF, went to a conference last week, and unfortunately we all brought back a pretty bad bug. But we're getting better. Unfortunately, I did hear from a few of you as well this week. You are having some concerns. Some of you, too, are fighting illnesses, and some are just fighting projects that you're working on back at your workplace. So thank you for emailing me, keeping me informed. We're going to use this week to get caught up and to keep on going. We're going to get through this. So let's just summarize really fast week 2. Again, I'm very impressed with everybody's contributions. Thank you. We have a great learning community happening. We had participants who are new to project management. You learned some great new lingo to use in your workplace, I hope. It does help to put a name to some of these phases of your project. I think we've done it intuitively, though, right? So I love when I started looking into project management, getting to know some of this terminology. Sometimes I would have an aha moment because, like I said, I was able to put a name to something I was already doing. But when I looked into it more, it's real systematic. So I was even able to find things that I was missing in my steps and processes. So that was great as a new person to project management. So I hope that you as well are taking away some of that information. We have some progressive project managers, and you were able to locate some great external resources for us as well. And you were able to contribute those to the discussion area and our glossary. And you were able to also add some learning experiences and applications on project management in your workplace. So thank you to everybody, new and old, to project management. I think your contributions really had several takeaways for all of us. Some of the key takeaways, I would say: stakeholders, extremely important. Planning, important. Expectations for the stakeholders and everyone, important. Communication and flexibility, important. So that's great stuff, and it's also a great way for us to kind of go into week 3 and talk about what week 3 has for us. So in week 3, we're going to be talking about predictive or waterfall versus adaptive agile approaches to project management. One of the things that I thought was fascinating was just recently in the sixth edition of the Project Management Body of Knowledge book, they just added this adaptive agile approach. So prior to that, it had really just been talking about the predictive waterfall approach. Kind of amazes me that it was never talked about before in the way that it is now, but I think that the agile approach really just lends itself well to us as instructional designers. So my takeaway is, like I said, I'm really glad that that's been added, and that's really what we're going to focus on a little bit. So we will talk about predictive. We will talk about, this predictive waterfall approach. It's very straightforward. It's very clearly defined. It lends itself well to kind of simple projects, short projects, whereas the adaptive agile is a lot more flexible. The project manager is almost more of a facilitator than a manager. I think Amanda Major, who wrote this course, said it very well. Collaboration, feedback, adaptability yields the most efficient results with this agile adaptive method. So we're going to cover additional resources for the agile project methodology in a second set of readings after we discuss the differences. Finally, after discussing those, we're going to briefly discuss a project life cycle and talk a little bit how you will decide what project life cycle you would select for your projects. And then after we get all that good information, we do have a few activities. One is 3.1, which is a discussion, and we'll discuss some of our readings this week. We also want you to start looking at the capstone application and reflection for week 4, so that's open for you to start looking at. And we also want to have you start looking at the expectations for the capstone course portfolio. We will use Padlet, so if you haven't used that before, you might want to look at some of that this week. I don't believe you need an account to post, but you might want to do that as well so that you can keep informed once the course ends, because that does stay open. But again, welcome to week 3. Enjoy learning about predictive and adaptive approaches, and please feel free to reach out to me during the week if you need anything. Otherwise, have a great week. Talk to you later.